Narcissists can be healed, right? I had a really big light bulb moment this week, last couple days, and today as well, around this topic. Narcissists can absolutely positively be healed. It's extremely difficult to do, which is why it doesn't happen. But this idea that it's impossible and like that's a lost cause and there's nothing that can be done and it's just what it is one of the biggest lies, right? And in an effort to do that, I want everybody who sees this to do two things. First thing is love on a child today. The next kid you see, literally, the next kid you come in contact with, love on them. And loving on a person doesn't have to be physical. You don't have to touch them at all, right? Physical affection is just one love language. There's words of affirmation, there's gifts, there's showing up, physically being supportive, like being physically present for them. Um, and so, you can do either one of those things, right? Because you don't just want to be touching any random child. Um, so, yeah, the next kid you come in contact with, love on them, pay them a compliment, help them out with something that they need help with. Um, Show up with their favorite food if you know the kid personally, with something that they like to eat or drink. Um, and just let them know that they matter, right? Let them know that they are relevant and important in this grand scheme of things, this world, their communities, their families. Let them know that they mean something, right? And why are we doing that? We're doing that because what I've come to realize about narcissism is that it's as difficult as it is because of those childhood foundational wounds, right? Those wounds run so deep and are so embedded in, and not just them, but anybody with pain and anybody with wounded and anybody with trauma. Theirs can be the most difficult because typically, they've been the most abused, right? Out of everyone else. Um, and not to make it, an Olympics of who had the worst and who's the best and all of that type of stuff. But yeah, the trouble is in going back and opening up that foundational wound and sitting in the truth of it, because you have to sit in the truth of it in order to heal it. You can't avoid it and heal it. You can't live by a facade, which is typically what happens with them, right? The grandiosity, the I'm the king of the world, I'm the best thing since sliced bread, is a mask. It's the 52 fake out, but it's a survival tactic. It's literally how they survive life. It's literally how they get through their day so that they don't have to walk through life believing the foundational lie from the womb, believing whatever they have been told or whatever they have been led to believe about themselves as a kid. And so letting go of that facade and owning the truth of their imperfection, right? Because when it's time to heal, and when it's time to be accountable about what you've done to other people, you have to tap into your weaknesses. You have to tap into the things that aren't so pretty about you. They struggle with that because by owning that they've done something not so pretty to you, they have to own their not so pretty parts in general. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to have to go back to whatever was told about them in their childhoods, or however they were treated, that told them that they were not so pretty, right? It's all tied in and connected together. They can't do one without the other. Nobody can. You can't own your darkness in one area and then ignore it in another area, right? Darkness is darkness. And so the denialism, the inability to say, yeah, I did that, or yeah, I am this way, is not about you. Not about you. It's firmly rooted in them having to run from whatever was handed to them in childhood and creating whatever they had to create in order to survive it. And so we're going to love on a child today because narcissists are created. They're created, they're manufactured, right? In the plant that is the family system in the home. And so we're going to love on a child today, the next kid you see, so that we can counteract whatever is going on in their lives, whatever they may be up against. You know, a lot of times what happens is the very people who bring us into this world convince us that we've been a burden in it, which is ironic, right? You brought me here and now you're telling me that I'm a burden for being here. But anyway, yeah. And so they may not have anyone doing these things for them. You know, there are people who literally, they go all day, all week, all month without ever receiving a compliment. And so the next kid you see, you want to love on that child. And then after you find a kid, because the babies come first, the next adult you see, love on that person too in the same way. You know what? Your smile really lights up the room. I like the way you put that outfit together today. You know, I really like being around you. You make me happy. Whatever it is, and try to be honest, don't lie. You know, try to be real about it so that it comes off authentically and the person truly feels it coming from your heart. And if you know a narcissist, right, if you know someone who struggles in that way, meet them with compassion. And it may not be the one who abused you. You know, that can be difficult, and I get that, right? So maybe it's not your actual abuser. You know, maybe it's just someone you know. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's a relative. Maybe it's a friend, you know. Just show them love. Show them love. And you have to show it in a way where it's not tied to anything. Because a lot of what also happens is a lot of love comes with prices for them as well, right? The environments that they come up in, they end up having to like perform or act or do certain things in order to be seen, in order to be validated, in order to be acknowledged, in order to be loved properly. And so try not to make it about, you know, an accomplishment. Don't make it about something they did necessarily. Just make it about them, their existence. They're lovable because they exist, not because they, you know, hit a sales record or because they bought a house or bought a car or anything material, right? Anything worldly. What is it about that individual? What is it about their just existence? What is it about them, who they really are, who they actually are, that, you know, your eye has caught, that just makes them stand out, where you see them. Let them know that. And you know, some may be against this and say that it's fuel for the fire and they'll take it and run with it. Either way, there isn't enough positivity or love in this world right now, and we need more of it. And the only way we're going to shift things from what they have been is to stand up and do it ourselves. Like, nobody's coming to save us, and so it's us. We all we got, right? So be the change you want to see. Step out today. You know, your circumstance might be difficult. A lot of people's are, and so you want your circumstance to get better. Add into someone else's. Pour into someone else's. You know, be the light, be the positivity for someone else. And then see what happens to you. See what becomes of your situation. See how things may shift in your own life. And so I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this because a lot came up for me around this, but I think that's like the foundation of it, right? There's this idea that, like, oh my gosh, they're just what's the word, lost causes. um it's a choice. It's a choice, right? If they choose to do the extremely difficult thing, and what I'm also learning is those foundational wounds, those childhood wounds, they are so hard to pull together. They are so deeply embedded. They are so difficult to access in a way that you need to access so that you can actually heal it. Because you got to get in there. It's like a cavity. It's like a rotten tooth. You got to dig in. You can't just pour mercury into a rotten tooth. You got to clean it out first, right? It'll continue to rot if you close it up with whatever gunk is in it. And so that's the part that they and a lot of people struggle with, getting in there and clearing out the decay, clearing out whatever is rotten, so that it can be filled with your positive things. Your hopefully amalgam over mercury. Mercury is bad for the body. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, like, that's the struggle. And I don't know, something about this moment in time feels like we are going to figure that out, right? We're gonna hit a pivot point, right, where things are really gonna shift, and we're gonna realize that everything that we thought, oh, there's nothing we can do about it, oh my gosh, this is just a lost cause, is not actually that. Is not actually that at all. So yes, please do the world a favor, do yourself a favor. Doing good deeds is also good for you as well. We feel good. We get a dopamine hit from doing good and making others feel good and putting good out into the world. And so if you're feeling down, try and cheer someone else up and see what happens. I guarantee you're going to feel better about it.